This is Pre-Algebra lesson 8.8, graphing linear inequalities. So here's how this works. This is really no different. The way you start this thing is no different than what you would do in the last 2 days of our lessons. You have learned how to do this. Y equals 2x plus 4. You know how to graph that. You know how to graph this already. You just do. So to graph this, let's look. Okay, to graph this, we have our coordinate plane. And you look here and you go, okay, that means that it crosses at 4. And the slope here is 2. That means 2 over 1, which means it goes up and over. There's our line. That line is that line. Okay, you know how to do this. We've done it too many times. Here's the deal. I'm going to show you what the difference is between that and what we're about to do today. Okay. Today, we aren't graphing lines. We're graphing inequalities. Y is greater than 2x plus 4. Now, here's the deal. This is how we do this. You see, it looks identical except instead of an equal sign, it's a greater than sign, right? I could have put a less than sign. Could have been a greater than or equal to sign. It could have been a less than or equal to sign. But it's an inequality. Here's what you do. You're paying attention. You don't do anything different, really. The line itself, this is, you graph this as though it was this. The difference is that on a greater than sign, like if I was going to graph this, x is greater than 4. How do I graph that on my number line down here? Do you remember? 0 and 4 and a greater than. Open circle to the right. Right? Makes sense? You remember this? Open circle because 4 is not included here, right? I mean, like 4 is not greater than 4. That's why it's everything to the right of 4, but not 4. That's why we put an open circle. When we're graphing an inequality like this on the coordinate plane, instead of putting a solid line there, we're going to go like this, we're going to go like that, we do a dotted line. That dotted line lets us know that the line itself is not included. Okay, the line itself is not included. Here's what we do, here's the rest of it. This is, got to pay attention. What we need, here's the deal. It's greater than or less than. Notice this, when I was down here doing this one, and I had 0 and I had 4, right? Technically, you're used to that. Technically, this right here, remember, that is the x-axis. Do you agree? I mean, that is the x-axis. And what really is happening is it's everything to the right of 4. Right? I mean, all of this, everything to the right of 4, that is exactly what we're doing. We just never did it like that. We just always put a circle and an arrow. But you know how we do that right here? It really is on the coordinate plane. It's not that. It would be a dotted line, and it would be everything over here. All of this. Does that make sense? Okay. So then, really, what we're looking for here is our answer is going to be, it's going to be on one side or the other of this line. It's going to either be this stuff over here, or it's going to be this stuff over here. One of those two, right? You can't always tell just, it isn't just necessarily going to be to the right here. That is not necessarily what it's going to be. It could be over here. And especially when things get more complicated, you can't just look and tell. So I'm going to show you now what to do to find out exactly where it is. Here's the deal. Our answer is either going to be over here, agreed, or it's over here, right? One of the two. All I have to do is find any point, pick a point anywhere, and see if it's true. In other words, if I was to choose this point right here, and I find out that yes, if I find out that that point right here is in fact a part of the solution, then that tells you that it's everything over here. But if I choose this point right here and it goes, no, that's not part of the solution, then what do you know is true? You know that it's this part over here. Does that make sense? So what we're going to do is we're going to choose the point that would be the absolute easiest to work with so that we can just very quickly do this and know which side is going to be shaded. What do you think? Which point was the easiest to work with? How about 0, 0? Let's choose the origin. Let's choose 0, 0. In other words, we're going to choose x Remember, it goes x and y. We're going to choose x to be 0 and y to be, and y to be 0. And we're going to plug that point into our inequality and see if it's part of it or not. This is what I'm talking about. Let's see. Let me show you what I'm talking about. We're going to plug in 0, 0. Instead of it being y, we're going to put 0. Greater than 2 times 0 plus 4. Instead of x, I put 0. Right? 0 is greater than, what is 2 times 0? 0. So plus 4, right? So is 0 greater than 4? No. So since 0 is not greater than 4, is that a part of the solution? No. So that means that all of this, and I draw it like that, it really should be like this. It should be arrows, right? Because it's all of this. You're actually going to shade everything over here. That's what you do. Does that make sense? Because this is the shaded area. I mean, technically, it covers up half of the whole universe. Does that make sense? But since we're on our paper, it's just this, right? I mean, it's all of this. So on your paper, when you do this, all I do is I just go like this. And that shows me that you understand that it's everything over there. Make sense? Okay. You guys try one. Let me give you this. I'll give you kind of an easy one. Y is, oh, sorry, one more thing. Let me go back. What would be the difference between this? Y is greater than, wrong thing. What is the difference between this and it was plus 4, right? Yeah. And this, y is greater than or equal to 2x plus 4. What would be the difference? What would I do different?
Would the line be solid?
The line is solid, right? Now it's just a regular old line. If it's a dotted line, it's showing that the line itself is not a part of it. Right? If it's a solid line, it means that the line is a part of it, right? That means it's or equal to. Yes?
So, for that, you still shade it, though.
You'd still shade it. Everything would be the exact same thing, right? It would still look like this. It would just be a solid line, and we already know that it's over here. But it's whether or not the line is solid or dotted has everything to do with, is it greater than or equal to? Make sense? Okay. Let me give you one here, then we'll go y is less than negative 2x plus 3. Okay, I want you to graph that for me. So you're watching now, here we go. We're going to graph this line as though what? As though it was an equal sign, right? We're just going to graph it as though it was a line. We know the answer to this is not a line, right? It's an entire section of the coordinate plane, but we're going to graph it. We have to find out where we're cutting this coordinate plane in half, right? So we're going to graph it as though it was an equal sign. Okay, that means the first thing we look for is the y-intercept crosses at 3. Okay, and then the slope is negative 2. That is a negative 2 over 1, right? So that's down 2 over 1. Here is our line, and it looks like this. Now, did I do that correctly?
No.
Why not?
Wait, no,
I did not. It's not dotted, right? It needs to be dotted because this is just less than. It's something you have to simply remember. So I have to go back up here and go, okay, dotted line. It's actually an arrow, right, like that. It means it goes forever each direction. I'm cutting this whole coordinate plane in half. Now, I have to decide which side, is it over here or is it over here? It's one of them. I'm going to choose point 0, 0 because it's very clear that 0, 0 is not on the line. We'll come back to this because the next one I'll show you will be different. Okay, so I'm going to choose 0, 0. That means I'm going to make it be y is 0, right? 0 is not equal to, is less than negative 2 times 0 plus 3. So 0 is less than 3. Is 0 less than 3?
Yes.
Yes, it is less than 3, which means that that is a part of the solution, which means that it's all of this over here. Make sense? Make sense? Mm-hmm. Good. Now, I'm going to show you a different one. What about this? What happens if I go like this? I'm going to have you grab this. Y is greater than or equal to, what's that mean? Solid line, right? Greater than or equal to, we're going to go 1/3 x. That's it. Okay, y is greater than or equal to 1/3 x. I'm going to show you this one. Let me show you this one really quick. I want you to watch. Then I'll give you one to do. You watching, Jade? I really want you to watch. On this one, first of all, is that written in slope-intercept form? Yeah, what have I left out? which is plus 0, right? Because I could write it, it wouldn't change anything. It's just invisible. It's there, right? So we know this is going to cross the y at 0, right? Even though it's missing, there's still a plus 0 there. Okay, so you're watching. We're going to graph this. Ooh, it's or equal to. I get to draw a solid line. Where's it cross the y? 0. And the slope is 1/3, up 1 over 3. So it looks like this. It's a solid line. We're good. There's our line. Agreed? Now, here's the deal. Normally, I would choose 0.00. I can't choose 0.00 because it's on the line. If I chose this, we already know, is 0, 0 going to be a solution to this?
Yes.
We already know that it's going to be because it's on the line and it's a solid line. Does that make sense? We know it's going to be, that's a solution, because it's on the line, and we know that the line is, in fact, because of that or equal to, we know it's a part of the solution. So choosing 0, 0 isn't going to help me decide which side to do. We aren't going to be able to tell whether it's over here or over here if I choose 0, 0. So I have to choose another point. Another point that's easy, but that's very clearly not on the line. What would be an easy point that is clearly not on the line, right? 1, 1. Look at that. 1, 1 is clearly above the line, right? And wouldn't 1, 1 be an easy point to choose?
Yes.
Let's choose 1, 1. So I'm going to choose, instead of y, I'm going to put 1 greater than or equal to 1/3 times 1. So 1 is greater than or equal to, what is 1/3? Is 1 greater than or equal to 1/3? 1 is greater than 1/3? Yes, it is, right? Therefore, we know that that is a part of the solution. Therefore, it's this over here. Does that make sense? Make sense?
So what would be your answer if you're doing this?
Your answer is this graph. I will say to graph this inequality, and your answer is the graph.
Okay.
Does that make sense? So you're going to have a bunch of graphs on your paper today. I'm going to give you another one. Okay. Another one. Let me find one here that they have. Okay, let's do, okay, what about a harder one like this? You know how to do this. 2x plus 3y is less than or equal to 7. Can we graph it the way it is? No, you got to fix it, right? You got to do it. You can do it. I want to see you do it. Right, I'm forcing you. I have not baby hand fed you that, right? I didn't hand you slope intercept form. You got to find it. So you got to get slope intercept form. What do I have to do?
Make it
Get y alone, right?
-2x.
I got to get y alone. Agreed? So we're going to go like this. Minus 2x. Whoa. Minus 2x, right? You're watching? That's gone now. No. Yeah, that's gone now. And so that makes 3y less than or equal to negative 2x plus 7. Right? Right? I mean, these are stuff that this is basic. You know how to do this. You got to be meticulous. And then now, what do? Divide by 3, divide by 3. That makes y less than or equal to, now what is this thing here? How do I write that now? Negative 2/3 x, and then, this is simply plus 7/3. That's what you do. I would leave it just like that. Does that make sense?
Yep.
Could you turn the 7, the slope, you never turn into an improper fraction. That makes no sense. You can't have a 2 1/3 slope. That makes no sense. But you can, if you wanted to, you could turn that into 2 1/3. I wouldn't. Why not? Why would you? I mean, unless it's a huge number and you have no idea where it crosses the y, But either way, the good thing about this is when you're graphing this sort of thing, I'm mostly wanting you to understand the concept. So where does this thing cross the y? 7/3, which is 2 1/3. So it's like about right here. Are you going to be able to be exact? No.
Wait, wouldn't it be 2.5?
No. There's 3 is going to be the denominator regardless, right? So right there is about where it's going to be, 7 2/3, and the slope is negative 2 over 3, down 2 over 3. It's going to be shallow, right? Does that make sense? And is it or equal to? It is or equal to, so it is a solid line. Now we have to choose 2 points. Or not 2 points, 1 point. What point am I going to choose? Origin, 0, 0, right? So I'm going to do 0, 0 in my, it's got to be on this guy. Technically, you know that, listen, this is very important. I'm going to draw this in red so you can see. The original question and this are
Same.
equal. They're the same thing. If you wanted to, you could plug it into this up here. Whenever you get to do the origin and you get to put zeros in there, that changes things. That makes this so easy. That makes this so easy to go down here and just, I don't care how ugly it is, choose the one that's slope-intercept form. 0 is less than or equal to negative 2/3 times 0 plus 7/3. This is going to be 0, so 0 less than or equal to 7/3. Is 0 less than 7/3?
Yes.
Yes. So then that means that the origin is, which means that it's all this. Does that make sense? A lot of steps, a lot of things to do. You can do it though. This is not something that is too difficult for you.
I like it just like left the 7 out.
Yeah, and that makes no sense. Yeah.
I-
Yeah. That's good. Okay, let me give you another one. Okay, try this one. 4x plus y is less than negative 3. Graph that for me. I'm going to rewrite it a little bit neater than that. 4x plus y is less than negative 3. Okay, so here we go. You're watching. Let's make sure you got this. First of all, can I graph this the way it sits?
No,
No, why not?
because X is on Y side.
So, because it's not in slope-intercept form. I want you guys to use the right words. It's not in slope-intercept form. Because slope-intercept form is easy because how easy is it to graph something from slope-intercept form? 5 seconds, because how long? Because why? What are you looking at?
Y-intercept and the
You're looking at the y-intercept and the slope. Oh my goodness, there's the y-intercept, put a dot. Oh, the slope is 3. Okay, and you're done. So easy. So we got to get to that point. That is not. So we have to go, okay, line down this, minus 4x, minus 4x. That leaves us with y is less than, no, I subtracted 4x. Do I have to flip the sign? No. What if this would have been a negative 3y and I had to divide the whole thing by negative 3?
Yes, you have.
Then you'd flip the sign. Can't forget that, right? That's coming, right? That's something that, it's little things that changes everything. But okay, y is less than negative 4x minus 3. We're good. So we know that this thing crosses at negative 3. And we know it's a negative 4 slope, so down 4 over 1, which is also up 4 over 1 over here. So we're going to draw our line like this. Ooh, is it solid or is it dotted?
Dotted.
Is that important?
Yes.
Hugely important. All right? Okay, so there's our line. It's ugly for me. I don't have a ruler. And so now we choose, what point can I clearly choose? 0, 0, right? I can choose 0, 0. I can choose the origin, which is 0 less than negative 4 times 0 minus 3. Just get used to writing that out. It's just better. And then you can go, okay, well, that's 0 is less than negative 3. Is 0 less than negative 3?
No.
No. That means that it's over here. Does that make sense? Did you get it right? Did you get it right?
I got it all right, except I put like solid line.
Oh, right. Yeah, which, here's the deal. It's so fun on the test. See, in 7th grade, pre-algebra, you guys all get multiple choice tests. In 8th grade, you get none. I give you none. I make you do it, and if you have anything wrong with it, it's wrong. I don't give partial credit. I don't. If you did done everything perfect, and then you forgot to dot it, boom, wrong. So, it's the way it works. Anyway, does that make sense, Gigi?
I have a question.
Yeah.
What if 0, 0 and 1, 1 are
Okay, okay, look, good question. Let's just say that we had this question right here. I'll even give you one, where it is y is greater than x plus, or just y is greater than x. First of all, is that written in slope-intercept form?
Yes.
It is, because it's y equals greater than 1x plus 0. Do you agree that those are exactly the same thing? Right? So they are. This is written in slope-intercept form. So let's do that one. Let's graph our y is greater than x. No, I'm going to do it for you so you can see. All right, so here we go. So I need to draw the line. And so since it's written in slope-intercept form, where does it cross the y?
0.
At 0. Okay, and what is the slope?
1.
It's a 1 slope, so up 1 over 1. Okay, so we draw our, it should be dotted, right?
Oh, and 2, 2 are covered.
Right, 1, 1's covered, 2, 2's covered, they're all covered, right? So all of a sudden, like, oh my goodness gracious. Okay, let's take a look. So here's our arrow, here's our arrow. What point can I choose? You can choose any point you want to.
2, 1.
You could choose anything. You can choose 2, 1, right? You can choose 1, 2, and so here's the deal. This is where you just have to be careful, and you go, okay. That means that if I'm going to choose that, that's a 1, 2. That means that I do this for myself too all the time. 1, 2. So I know that the x is 1, the y is 2. I need to plug it in. So I'm going to plug in, instead of y, I'm going to put 2. It's greater than 1. Is 2 greater than 1? Yes. Therefore, that's true, which makes this the answer. You literally choose any point. And if you, I always say choose 0, 0. Why do I say choose 0, 0? Because it's the easiest one. But you can choose any point you want to, and it will work. It will work, right? Every once in a while you get one that's kind of like that, and oh man, you guys are hosing me because it's, on my line. It's on my favorite. That's okay. Choose something else. You're good. All right, I think you guys are good enough to get started on your homework here. Eventually, so tomorrow I'll show you where we're gonna go to an algebra, because eventually you're going to graph a system where there's, a system meaning the 2 lines cross, and they're inequalities, and so you got to shade, and then it's a lot more complicated, but whatever, you guys will be able to do it. If you want to try and do it, you can look at number 48 down there at the bottom of page 445. That,
Oh my goodness.
Oh, wait, what page is
there's
it?
just 3 steps.
Wait, what page is it?
Anyway, let me give you your homework.
Why is there 3 different colors?
I know.
So it's more specific.
There's 4 actually.
To make it more beautiful.
Wait, which one is it? What page
You
is it?
guys are going to do page 20. Okay, so, all right, here we go. Here's your homework. Shh, we're talking. Page 444 to 445, 23 to 42, odd. Okay, that's what I'm having you do. Each question should have its own graph, etc.